Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So I often get questions about what is the minimum depth of a pot for any succulent. Now guys, I would say this completely depends upon the size of the succulent. Now for example here I have a slightly medium to larger succulent, and here I have a medium to smaller succulent. Now this succulent is in a pot that is around 2.5 inches. I usually do not go lower than this, but if you have a very small tiny pot, probably you can go with a 2-inch pot, but nothing more smaller than that, because remember guys, succulents tend to prefer a little bit of space and a little bit of growth material for them in order for them to grow. So even though we speak about this, that succulents prefer smaller pots, but that does not mean that you're going to go with a very tiny little pot. It is not going to work out really well. You can either go for a minimum depth of let's say 2 inches, or if I have to tell you in centimeters, then probably 7 centimeters, nothing below that. Try to keep a pot that is around 7 centimeters or 2.5 inches. This should work out really well. Again, depends upon what size of succulent you have. Now for example, I have a bigger succulent over here, medium to larger size. It's not a large size, but I would say it is a medium to large size. So this type of succulent, I will definitely not keep it in a pot that is going to be of 5 centimeters or 3 centimeters, or let's say in a 1-inch pot. I cannot keep it in that. I'll have to keep it in a slightly bigger pot. Now this pot is around 3.5 inches in depth, and it has a good width because Echeverias tend to grow wide. So you can see it's completely covered up in this pot. I will show you how it looked earlier. I'll put the image on the right hand side. You will see how initially the succulent tend to look. It was more closed inwards, and slowly as it started to grow, you can see it has now started to get wide. You can see on the right hand side the succulent was very closed inwards. You could actually see the edges of the pot, but now you can see it has completely taken over the edges of the pot as well, because it's starting to open up, it is starting to grow. So you have to be extremely careful that you do not keep it in a very tiny pot, because that again will damage the succulent, because remember, succulents also need a little bit of water and a little bit of soil to grow, not very minimum soil. So I would suggest the minimum that you can go with is a 7 centimeter pot. Don't go anything below that. Try to keep it either 7 centimeter, anything between 7 to 10 centimeter of depth would work out really well for a succulent. But again, it all depends upon the size of succulent. If you feel that the pot is very small for the succulent, if your intuition tells you that this is not going to work out really well, then listen to your intuition. Then do not go into a very small pot. Go for a pot that is around 10 centimeters for this type of size. But if you have a smaller size like this, then probably you can go with a 7 centimeter or a 6 centimeter max, but nothing less than that. You can see it's doing pretty well. It is going to take a very long time for this succulent to reach to this size. So till then it is going to do quite well in this pot. It's not a very tiny pot. It is of a good decent size. So you have to check on that. Whereas if you remember the last time I had added this pup in this small little tiny pot, the reason is because this was a very small pup. It was hardly less than 1 centimeter at that time, but it was still doing quite well. That is why I had used a very small pot. So please do not use these pots for your decent size succulents. Anything that is medium to large, do not use this size. So please do not go with this pot size for your larger succulents. Now this was a pup, that is why I had put it in this. At that point of time, I didn't even think that it's going to survive, but it did survive. So next time, once it grows a couple of more centimeters, let's say it grows another 1 inch, I will definitely move it to a 7 centimeter or a 8 centimeter depth of a pot. But please do not use this pot for a succulent like this. It is not going to work out really well. The succulent will start getting dehydrated. The roots will start getting dry, because as and when you're going to water, the soil is going to be very less. It will dry up very fast. It is little tricky initially to understand, but over the period of time, as and when you get a hang on experience with them, you will be able to understand. So basically you need to have a balance between everything related with watering, related with light, related with the pot size. You need to have a proper balance. If your succulent is overgrowing in a particular pot, then probably you will have to move to the next slightly larger pot, not a very large pot. Let's say if this was a 7 centimeter pot, then if it is getting overgrown in this, probably I'll move to the next probably 8 centimeter, 9 centimeter, or even 10 centimeter, but I'm definitely not going to move it into a a pot size that is going to be 4 times bigger than this. So you need to check accordingly and provide the right type of pot for your succulents. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.